Hi, I'm Chris. This past weekend there was a strange event going on in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet to coincide with the full moon, the first mass outbreak event in the game following the Teal Mask DLC release. Now I don't know about you, but I do enjoy looking at past events on sites like Cerebi and thinking about what it'd have been like to be there for ones I missed, so I thought it'd be fun to chronicle this one to look back on someday, even if it's not that exciting. In this event's case, it sprinkles both in-game maps with mass outbreaks. The featured Pokemon is the classic Kanto alien Clefairy. Here in Gen 9, Clefairy is exclusive to the Kitakami region in-game, but a neat thing about this event is that Clefairy would also be spawning in the Paldea region, even for those who didn't buy the DLC. This event lasted from about the 29th of September until in the evening on October 1st, 2023, meaning you're watching this after it's already ended. However, there's another facet to this event beyond just spawning Clefairy everywhere. You see, these Clefairy have a heightened chance of having a special mark that you can assign to them, the Upbeat Mark. Now, if you're not familiar with the mark system in new Pokemon games, I don't blame you. Even until a few weeks ago, I didn't really get them. Then something in my brain clicked into place, and now I think they're pretty neat. Basically, they're analogous to ribbons and even slot into the same area on the Pokemon summary screen. They allow you to append a title to your Pokemon when sent out into battle. Nothing that really matters, but they're a fun extra thing to check for when catching Pokemon. A large number of these marks have a 1 in 100 chance of being on any new Pokemon you catch, but that obfuscates the reality just a bit. See, to get a specific personality mark on your Pokemon, it's actually then a 1 in 2800 chance, as once the 1 in 100 is determined, the game then randomly selects a specific personality mark from a pool to assign to the Pokemon. I'll have a link to Austin John's play video in the description that provides more detail on these numbers with regards to this event, but to paraphrase him and put it simply, normally, to get a Clefairy with the Chipper mark in the wild, it's a 1 in 2800 chance. That's a lot of Clefairy if you wanted that specific mark. However, this event boosts that chance to about 5% outright, up from 0.03%. That's quite a leap, assuming I understood all the numbers correctly. Maybe I didn't, I don't know. Where this starts to draw me in though is that it is an event. I have always enjoyed getting event Pokemon over the years, but especially as of Scarlet and Violet, I've done my best to get as many of the distributed event Pokemon as I can. I just think they're neat. The key difference here though is that while those events gave out a specific Pokemon via a code or Wi-Fi event that everyone could theoretically get, event is very loose here as there is no specific one Pokemon being handed out. This is no special Kitakami Clefairy or anything like that. It's just a time in the game where a bunch of Clefairy happen to appear and they're all different. You could get a Chipper Mark Clefairy with enough time whenever, really. However, this didn't dissuade my brain from thinking that it'd be neat to get one anyway. To have a Pokemon representative of the first ever time this kind of event was done in Gen 9. One I can look back at in 6 years and go, oh yeah, that one! And just like that, the brain worms took hold. Something I've had to accept about myself over the past year is that my brain really enjoys tedium, especially in RPGs. This shiny 3-segment to Dunsparce is proof of that. She took 148 Dunsparce to get, and I love her, but she's also a living monument to my poor decisions in life. So as I carried her around with me to try to get the partner mark on her for this hunt, a 1 in 100 chance every 1000 steps in game, my mind drifted to the thought, wouldn't it be funny to get a shiny Clefairy with the Chipper mark? Haha. Going by Austin's video, even with a shiny charm, a sandwich boosting shiny odds and mark odds, as well as beating 60 Clefairy in an outbreak first to achieve maximum shiny odds, the actual chance of getting a shiny Clefairy with the Chipper mark would only be 1 out of 10,248.8. So I chuckled again and put that thought to the back of my mind. I'd give myself the best chance I could, but by no means was that something I'd actively hunt for. That'd be ridiculous. So with no real planning, I threw a dart at Paldea's map and landed on the outbreak by Alfornata. I chose this spot primarily due to having some outbreak hunts recently with sharp hills and mountains affecting my spawns and just making the hunts rough. I just wanted a nice flat area to take things relatively easy. However, I quickly made a snap judgment seeing how high the Clefairy's levels are, and I pivoted over to another outbreak by Artisan. I made an assumption fueled by me wanting to keep my hunt to just Pokeballs, cheap to replenish in case I wound up using a lot of them. I figured their catch rate may get in the way, so I wanted to go somewhere with lower levels. I'm sure fate will bring me back to Alfornata eventually. So it was here that I started to clear out 60 Clefairy to heighten my shiny odds, you know, just in case. I also got to work catching some Clefairy just to see what marks I'd get. See, it's not just the Chipper mark that's boosted, it's the chance of any personality mark that's boosted. So while this is labeled as a Chipper mark event, it's actually an opportunity to try to grab a lot of rare marks. I figured I'd try my luck, but due to me being pretty new at this, I actually misunderstood a vital part of this process for way too long. I was checking for marks at the caught summary screen, but since you can't assign a mark from here, you can't actually tell if the Pokemon you caught has one. You have to send it to your party or PC box and then check. I don't know if that's great, but that's the mistake I made. So after catching about a box full of Clefairy and seeing that this specific outbreak had almost depleted, I was a bit discouraged. I placed a save file that I could reset to after catching more Clefairy, just so I wouldn't have to move from this spot because again, I was foolishly assuming higher level Clefairy wouldn't be easy to catch in a Pokeball after false swipe. So I spent another half hour or so repeating the mistake I didn't know it was a mistake, thinking that all of these Clefairy just didn't have any marks at all, and then decided that I'd go ahead and get a hunt I wanted to do out of the way. So I headed to the Socarrot Trail to formally apologize for mispronouncing it first of all. Since the newest update to the game fixed the outbreak spawns, it was now actually possible to shiny hunt different forms of Pokemon. After a scare that had ran off and despawned, a few sets later I got this cute guy. No mark, 2 down, 1 to go. I then aimed to return to my Clefairy hunt, but with a different tactic this time. You see, I had a 3-pronged spawn area here in the Paradise Barrens in Kitakami. A veritable triangle of Clefairy spawning and doing this cute dance at night. It was here that I would certainly catch a Chipper Clefairy and place another save to reset from to idly shiny hunt a Chipper Clefairy. Yeah, you know, just in case I could get one. I theory crafted this as the place where I'd give myself the best chance. So I took the plane to Japan, cleared 60 Clefairy from each of the 3 outbreaks, and got ready for a lot of hunting. First sandwich I made boosted normal encounters because I was incorrectly assuming that Clefairy had retained its original normal typing in addition to its new age fairy typing. So I was wondering why I was seeing so many Tandemaus everywhere, which I know are normal, but I was expecting more Clefairy, right? It wasn't until much later that I realized that no, Clefairy is just only fairy type now as of Pokemon X and Y. Part of why I'm making this video is to publicly own myself and show how little I know about Pokemon. Despite playing hundreds of hours throughout the series all my life. I did find a shiny Clefairy on this sandwich though, my second phase on this hunt. However, I was still incorrectly checking for marks, so I reset without saving, assuming it didn't have one. Who knows how my luck was in that really? Possibly unlucky, going by my poor Glade here. Clearly, we were in a rut. On a related note, has anyone else noticed how often your partner Pokemon just runs off in a random direction when you throw them out after the new update? Poor Glade here was just possessed. I don't know what got into him. Eventually he came back to his senses, but weird. Now during some of my hunts that night, I was in a call with some of FTCR's patrons for a movie night. We watched the new TMNT movie and it was pretty great. I don't know much about the turtles, but I had a lot of fun watching it. It talks about milking a lot more than I expected though. I wish I was making that up to be quirky, but no, lots of milking.
Does it hurt? Of course it hurts. She's milking me.
Why would they do that? Speaking of milking, I wanted to milk this event for longer, so I cheekily disconnected my Switch from the internet and set my Switch's time back in case a daily reset would change my spawn locations. I didn't plan to do this hunt past October 1st, so I wasn't going to like super cheat. I just didn't want to lose out on this outbreak cluster specifically. So I went to sleep, and while trying to wake up the next day, I was doing just a little more hunting, right? That's when I found him. The clear answer to my wishes, a shiny level 64 Clefairy. With an expert catch, I checked his bold summary screen and no mark. I knew it wouldn't be that easy, but you know, it'd be nice if it was. It's sad to reset away any shiny, but this wasn't my target and I didn't want to waste the Herba Mystica. Bye bye, bold. Now, if there's one thing that every shiny hunter knows, It's that random unexpected shinies are the best. It's one feeling to get a shiny Pokemon that you've been hunting, but a surprise shiny gives a happiness that takes a while to pass. I found a nose pass. When I first got to Kitakami and saw how many there were here, I thought it'd be fun to find one, but I definitely wasn't expecting it so soon. I love how he looks in the game too. When I was a kid, I really didn't like Nosepass that much, but as I've gotten older, I really appreciate it more. Since he's a stationary Pokemon, I went for some flex shots and then I engaged. I didn't save before this battle as I was still using Precious Herba Mystica to boost my fairy shiny odds, so in the event I didn't find a shiny Clefairy, this Nosepass would meet a similar fate to Bold. However, he put up quite a fight here. I was on the edge of my seat in case he had a move that would cause damage to himself, and he kept paralyzing me, complicated my hypnosis's already frequent chance of missing. We spent about 4 minutes in battle before I finally caught him. By the end of the battle, I decided I really liked his Moxie, and it wouldn't be fun sending him to the digital void after that fight, so he's part of my collection now. He's a relaxed Nosepass. I don't know if that's a good nature competitively or whatever, but considering how Nosepass just chill and point to the north, I think it's very fitting. I just couldn't say goodbye to him. He came with the expense of wasting the Mystica, however, as I was boosting only shiny fairy odds and didn't find a shiny Clefairy. I really stuck my neck out for him if you think about it. I'd need to do some terror raids to get more spicy Herba Mystica, so I took a pause on my hunt. I decided to pick up my hunt later a bit down the mountain from the crystal pool at a different outbreak. At this point, the shiny Chipper Clefairy was a thought I'd put out of my mind. I'd just go for the Chipper Mark on a normal Clefairy. Greed was still fueling me here though. Part of why I went to that outbreak instead was on the off chance of seeing a shiny Slugma or coughing during the hunt. 2 killer shinies I'd love to have. And about 2 boxes of Clefairy later, I finally got it. A Clefairy with the Chipper Mark. Felt good. It was my 6th Clefairy with a mark from this event. I also found Cloudy, Rowdy, Dawn, Uncommon, and another Cloudy before it. Now most of those I'd never had before, so I was satisfied. Here's Clefairy the Chipper putting a beat down on a poor sea slug to show off. Now normally, this is where the video would start to end, but more happened, enough that I felt the need to actually go ahead and make this video, you see. It was after this that I found that my shiny Iron Thorns had gotten the partner mark as well as my shiny Diplin. I was pretty happy about that, still working to get it on Dunsparce, but I figured I'd call it a night for Scarlet and continue my good luck by heading out to play Pokemon Go, or more specifically to check for Kecleon at Pokestops. As part of my research task to get a shiny Jirachi in the game, I've needed to catch 10 Kecleon, and I've had the worst luck with it, so I've actually been stuck on that mission for months. Now, Go was separately having its own event where Kecleon were more likely to spawn, and I actually found 4 that night. No footage of that, but I came home pretty pleased. Going from 3 to 7 in one night felt pretty good. And with that, the next day I was feeling pretty pleased, but I needed to stock up on Herba Mystica. Along the way, I finally built some raid counter Pokemon to handle types I'd been neglecting since the game's release, so I was running around EV training and the like. Now, while on the way to a raid though, I spotted something purple. That's right, a shiny Cubchoo. I'm a sucker for purple, so I was pretty hyped to find this cute little guy running around. Calm nature, no mark. I then went on to do some raids to build my stock. Now, my luck was great, so later in the day, once the weather was nicer, I figured I'd go out and try to get the last 3 Kecleon I needed for that task and go. And not only did I get them, but I found a shiny Feebas while I was out. Now, I was stoked. Melodic is an awesome shiny, and Feebas is hardly ever in Go, so I definitely lucked out. This was full odds. However, yep, within an hour, I got another full odds shiny Feebas. I don't even have the words, really. My luck is fairly okay in Go, right? But this is easily the best luck I've had this year in game. Not to mention how good the stats are on this one, just insane odds. So I came home pretty happy, and to wind down, I put on some YouTube videos I'd been binging and picked up the shiny Clefairy hunt again just to kind of keep my hands occupied and just be doing something while I watched, right? Now, 2 sandwiches went by with nothing, but on the 3rd sandwich, I found my 3rd shiny Clefairy. And And yep, that is a mild-natured, upbeat, shiny Clefairy. Let me tell you, I was in disbelief. I really did not expect to get this. I figured at best, I'd get a different mark and be happy with that. Now again, going by that video, it's a 1 in 10,248.8 chance. I cannot believe my luck. I really wasn't that serious about hunting this. I thought it'd be a fun meme if I did get it, but never did I expect to actually get it, not for a moment. I wanted to collect the Chipper Clefairy so that I could always remember the first mass outbreak event in Scarlet and Violet, and I totally got that and more. On top of the 2 shiny feedbacks in Go just a few hours before, well, I really wish I'd bought a lottery ticket while I was out instead, but hey, I like shiny Pokemon, so I'm very happy. Now, I still had some time left on my sandwich with boosted shiny odds, so I looked at the fairy Pokemon available in-game and decided that I'd go back to Kitakami to hunt for Carbink. They only spawn in this one cave inside of the central mountain, and sure enough, I found a hasty shiny Carbink thanks to the sandwich effect still lasting. This is a very noticeable shiny, so I was jazzed. This is a Pokemon I never thought I'd ever shiny hunt, but this was the perfect chance to grab one, and I'm glad it worked out. However, I still had a few minutes left, so I decided it'd be nice to have a shiny Fido, so I flew to Cortondo in hunt of a buzzer beater, but I seemingly forgot where they appear here, so I just wasted the last few minutes of my sandwich. Here's my crew, minus the Feebas, since I don't have the energy and Go to transfer them to home right now. Now, before this weekend, I would really only have tagged Tatsugiri here as a Pokemon that I'd have shiny hunted, as I already have a shiny Nosepass and Clefairy in Go. But now I can evolve my Nosepass and I have a very unique shiny Clefairy. You will always be able to shiny hunt a Clefairy with a Chipper Mark in-game, and it will be even rarer than the one I got. But to me, this one is very special. It will always be unique for being one of a few caught during this event, and it will always remind me of the insane luck I had for this full moon event. Now, I definitely won't be doing this again on the next promoted mass outbreak event, but I'm glad I put some time in here for this first one. I'll never forget. So thank you so much for watching. I haven't really done this type of video before, so I hope it was an entertaining chronicle. On this channel, I've been logging my hunt for a regional origin dex through each game in the series, so if you're interested, definitely check that out. Let me know what cool shiny you've gotten recently while we're at it. Is where I was going to end this video, but this morning, before sitting down to edit this video, I found a shiny Psyduck and a shiny Onix when I opened Go. I actually got another shiny Onix last week in Go, so it just seems like my luck isn't going to end. Especially since when I opened the app again a couple hours later, I found another one? Seriously, did the shiny rates break in Go or what? Here's the capture dates to prove it. Also, by now I did move one of my Feebas into home. Alright, I'm going to end this video before I get accused of cheating. Bye! Okay, literally, as I was just putting the final touches on this video, I opened Pokemon Go. Just make it stop. No more. No more. Now I've got to thank my patrons for supporting me. Fine folk like Adrian, Alex, Buckles Chuckwell, Cooking Mama, Daniel, Bullstorm07, Harry, Hero, James Boss, Jeet, Joey, Common CJ, Patrick Thompson, Professor Jash, Svendelica, That Trav Guy, and The Crazy Even. Thank you.